Netanyahu was elected on December 29th of 2022. And this is really important, and you did a great job in the book, and it was wonderful for me, so thank you, of highlighting some of the things that I did not know about the Israeli government. Because unlike what we had happen back after, the war in the 60s and the handing over of the Temple Mount, this government in Israel right now is probably the most religiously zealous government perhaps in the history of the state of Israel. Is that fair to say?
Oh, that's the claim I absolutely make in the book, because Netanyahu has, he's their government is a little bit strange, but so Netanyahu has had to make coalitions with different groups, the left groups, the labor groups, the centrist groups, and then the religious right groups. And so, he had been, prime minister for a while. And of course, this was right before they had several governments that had failed, or that fell out of coalition. And so this failed, new elections, Naftali Bennett's in there, the others. And so, but when this happened in December of 22, he made an agreement with the religious groups, and so far it has stuck over the past few years. But by his agreeing with them, this is the most religious group that has ever existed, which again just irritates so much the left in the land of Israel.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also irritates the enemies around Israel. And there are some pretty prominent members inside of his own cabinet that have kind of poked the bear, if you will. And that's really important too. And one of them I have written down here. Well, one of the things that Netanyahu said himself that I made sure to make a note of in the book is he's even publicly said, and I think if I remember the way you wrote it in the book, he's kind of started to maybe distance himself away from the comment, but he had made a comment at one point that he felt that it was his destiny as a leader to be the one in charge to actually bring about the third temple. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, what he said, just to clarify, is this brother, Robert Mawiri, he knows Netanyahu on a first name basis. And so he said, hey, Mondo. So Netanyahu never said it publicly, but Mawiri said, he told me personally that he feels it's his destiny to be the prime minister when the temple is built.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put something out there that was not accurate. But another character inside the cabinet that has been pretty vocal and pretty out there about the things that he's wanting to do is actually, what is it? Basically his Secretary of Defense. Is that officially the guy's title?
He's the National Security Minister.
Yeah, so it's pretty much
all the police.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So please do dive into him if you would.
Yeah, he is he's a very enigmatic character. His name's Itamar Ben-Gvir, and it's interesting that he is an Orthodox Jew. He is 100%. I would even call him extreme in the sense, maybe I say he's devoted, however you want to say it. He's an extreme devoted person to Israel. He despises the Palestinians. If it's up to him, he would remove them all off of the face of the earth. These are just his quotes. He's also very anti-Christian. He's he's not interested in Christians living in the land of Israel with their missionary type evangelism. And so he is an ardent Jewish zealot. I guess I'll say that. I don't mind saying it publicly because he would probably agree with it. And so what he's done is, like, the first day that they came into power, he went up on the Temple Mount. And so he began to unilaterally try to force a change of the status quo of the perception within the media. Because remember, he's not just fighting the Arabs in his desire. He's fighting the left. He's fighting the leftist mentality there, the very liberal mentality of the Temple Mount, who are very pacifist as it relates to the Arab, the Palestinians in that regard. So, and since then, he's gone on and on and on. And just here in the last couple of weeks, Tisha B'Av, he went up on the Temple Mount. Remember, he's in charge of the police. So the police are in charge of the security for the Temple Mount. And so he's been up there many, many times, again, pushing the envelope. And he did it this time as well. He went up there with a police escort. And this was the first time, truly, again, in thousands of years, that they prayed, they sung, they danced, they read scripture. See, all that has been, and it still is officially forbidden. But when you're the police, who's going to stop you? And the police, when you're in charge of the police, and he's allowed the police to said, listen, don't interrupt this. If any of the Arabs cause trouble, you need to do that, and surrounded them. And so, again, his goal, I think he will be the one historically that will be looked at as the one who changed the status quo of the Temple Mount. And so, again, there will be a temple up there. We know Scripture says that. And so I think if you were, again, to just historically look at it, he would be the one that would be given credit for the change that has happened.